Well, Democratic voters have made at least one policy position very clear over the last 6 months. If they don't get what they want, they're going to set things on fire. Business owners in a bunch of different cities, all Democratic cities, know that very, very well. So they spent the weekend preparing for the inevitable rioting on Election Day because this is no longer America. It's some third world dystopia in Seattle, Washington, Portland. What? If you think we're overstating it, here's what those cities look like now.
We're just hours away from Election Day, and while the outcome is uncertain, potential for violent protests is not. Business owners in major cities spent the past few days preparing for unrest.
Windows of many luxury high-end retailers covered with plywood as concerns grow of civil unrest on election night and the days following.
High-end retailers in San Francisco are boarding up windows and doors ahead of Tuesday's election, while in Beverly Hills, the city is banning vehicles and pedestrians and hiring some 60 armed guards to help patrol its famed Rodeo Drive.
So why don't the people who own those buildings defend their buildings? We're all the men in this country. Oh, they get indicted if they try to defend themselves or their property. That's the lesson we've been taught over the last 6 months. Now we're supposed to believe that the real threat is right-wingers, all those Trump supporters in Los Angeles. Portland's mayor, Ted Wheeler, tweeted today that there were, quote, heightened concerns about potential violence, particularly from white supremacist organizations. Well, yesterday, a columnist at one prominent left-wing website dropped the pretense. He wrote this, quote, if Trump ends up stealing the election in a way that makes you want to smash windows, I would suggest his luxury hotel rather than random office buildings or the Walgreens. Right. So some kid who went to Harvard and has got a journalism job is now telling you go smash Trump's hotel. Because democracy isn't worth participating in anymore. Violence is the answer. They believe that, a lot of these people, and they're not on the right. Candace Owens knows this very well. A keen observer of what's happening. She's the author of Blackout, How Black America Can Make Its Second Escape from the Democrat Plantation. We're happy to have her on the show tonight. Candace Owens, thanks so much for coming on. So we're being told, in spite of 6 months of videotaped evidence, that the real threat is from the right. How should we process this?
You know how to process it, Tucker. Don't believe your own eyes. That's the left's motto. Don't believe your own eyes. Walking down the street today in Washington, D.C., I see these stores boarded up. But here's what's really interesting that I want to point out. These owners are also writing on these boards, we support Black Lives Matter. Now, why would a business owner feel the need to spray paint on their own business boarded up, we support Black Lives Matter? Because they're hoping that if they send that message, they know exactly who's going to attack them. They know it's not Trump supporters. They know it's the left. It's the radical left. They know it's Antifa operating under the guise of Black Lives Matter, pretending that them destroying and ruining inner cities is because they care about Black lives, right? That's the mirage the left is painting, when in fact, they just believe this is the right way to act. And it's not just these thugs that are doing this. They're getting dog whistles actively. The leftist media is telling them there is no way Trump can win this election legitimately. I heard James Clyburn say that the other day. I've listened to multiple commentators say that on the left. There's no way he can win this legitimately. What does that signal to all of these groups, Tucker? All these groups on the left, it says, you know what? You have a right to destroy, because no matter what happens, if you don't get what you want, it's because things were not done legitimately.
That is such a wise point. And your point about what they're spray painting, I mean, if Ted Wheeler, who really should be punished for what he's done to that beautiful city of Portland, if that was really true, that people be spray painting, I'm a white supremacist. I mean, spare me, right-wing mobs.
That's exactly right.
It is right. And yet all of us sort of nod like, oh, yeah, I guess, we'll just sort of put up. I mean, is there a point at which people say, you need to stop lying to us? We're actually not going to put up with this much lying over this longer period.
There is, and I will say this, and I will say this sincerely, to everybody on the left that is okay with this, that is watching these businesses get boarded up and have turned the other cheek this entire year because you hate Trump so much. Let me tell you something. You will get eaten by your own dogs. When we start down this road in America, if you think that we can somehow put the toothpaste back in the tube, there will come a time where you're on side and you have a disagreement, and they're not going to stop. They're going to come for you too, and they're going to move past businesses. They're going to move into the suburbs. They're going to move into homes. Tucker, you know this. You've had Antifa show up on your doorstep. There is no way to stop this. So you be careful and you think about that when you head to the polls. You are either on the side of mob rule or you are on the side of law and order. And I am on the side of mob rule. Tomorrow I will be casting my ballot for Donald J. Trump.
Amen. Nicely put. Candace Owens, great to see you tonight. Thank you for that.
Thank you.